Welcome back to the Warlock Journal. I'm Agamemnon on the 1st. Today's recording is being recorded on the 21st of September 2018, 5:26 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It's Friday.
Keep your weapons sharp.
This video was captured on the 5th of September 2018. This is part 3 of the series. This is actually going to be a multi-part series, meaning there'll definitely be more than 3 parts. I shot a lot of video this day. This is the part where we're going to get to go out and
Get moving.
over our first chance to see Colteris. We spent most of our expansion on Zandalar at this point, and we progressed now, or level high enough that they're going to send us on these missions to infiltrate Colteris, which is close to Alliance waters. The main reason I selected this one had more to do with that it was Gallywix's pet project. I don't really spend a lot of time with Gallywix, so I was intrigued. He has this little chopper here that we're going to take advantage of.
Goodbye.
Sounds still all funky. That's actually on the video and not your PC doing that. This day I was using the Microsoft game DVR because Fraps decided it didn't want to work anymore. And so I have since upgraded to the Bandicam system, but as of the 21st of September, so all the videos from 5th of September up until the 21st of September were all done with the Microsoft game DVR. But once we get back to using the Bandicam stuff, I imagine we won't have those issues. A lot of the sound issues slowly went away with the game DVR. And I don't know why, but it just did. But every now and then you get the laggy sound effects. Since this is my first time here in Colteris, I want to take my time, get to see the place. You can see on this day we had the damage meters working. As of the 21st of September, I have all my actual add-ons are working now properly. Together. They weren't doing that at first. It took me a while to sort through them and get them set up properly. your time here in Colteris is rather short, and I kind of like that from a story perspective. They just sort of introduce the area to you. Here's their plight, and I didn't want to spend too much time roaming around a Alliance area. And especially at this point, I think we're only, what, 116? Progressively from the 5th of September till the 21st, we captured a lot more video in our sessions than just an hour worth, so our sessions were a little longer. Therefore, all the videos in that time have more parts to them. Me, I'm a cautious player. I don't like to, run into things. I like to take my time. Get a lay of the land. I didn't find this area to be all that difficult. We had to run through a 120 level area at some point, but we didn't stick around long enough for it to be an issue. Just kept moving. One feature that is in this expansion that you're gonna see over the next several videos is, or the next several days will be, as the Horde goes through the story, they're having to build the outpost. And it happens a lot. I don't know if the Alliance has that same experience, but on the Horde side, that was pretty interesting. That they have you, all the missions that you're doing are to build the outpost that you're at, or station, and that's always cool. As of the 21st September, I haven't had a chance to get to the war mode yet. I pretty much finished all the questing for the main story quest in Zandalar. I was sent to the war council, campaign council, but you have to have your eye level has to be 320 now, so I've been spending a lot of my time doing a world quest and gathering resources and getting my eye level up through dungeons, random dungeons mainly. That seemed to be the most efficient way to get gear. This little motorcycle was kind of fun. Those of you that might not be familiar with Intrigue, if you start from level 1 and the first time you go over to Orgrimmar from the Undercity, you spend a lot of time with him. He's the campaign guy that you get all your missions from, and then I guess they've kept him over the years, and he becomes important if you're a Forsaken character. Throughout your adventures, one thing I'm going to have to do is plot out a time for this character to go back and do all the early quests to build up his reputation. It feels like with each expansion, reputation becomes more and more important, and so if you're lagging in some areas of reputation, you need to go knock those out, because you're gonna slowly grow behind in reputation. Now, as I was capturing this video, originally I wanted to capture everything in 30-minute intervals, but since it wasn't taking up a lot of memory, being that it's MP4 format, I decided to keep the cameras rolling, experiment around with it a little.
Your weapon's sharp.
Penny for my thoughts? You gotta do better than that. I'm always 3 steps ahead of the competition.
As of the 5th of September, the date the video was captured, I'm having a lot of fun with the expansion. There's been a lot of, I'm gonna call it banter on YouTube with a lot of the regular streamers, people who are much further along in the expansion than we are. They're running out of things to do, I guess, so naturally they're complaining. But I don't know. I don't really see that as a fault of the developer. Now that a lot of people are happy with war mode, not war mode, but the war campaign mode. One thing I've noticed with demonology is that you use the drain life a lot more in your rotation. I mean, not using every fight, but when the fights start becoming hard fights, the drain life is actually a really good attack and heal. But demonology has always been that way. All your powers have multi-functions, and they're not really geared for one thing. Although you can use them for one thing, it's a multifaceted role, and you have to learn all the different ways that you can apply your craft to whatever you're facing. In the Legion version of Warlock, it wasn't necessary to use Drain Life, because you would have empowered, was it empowered demons? And then, what was the other one? So you cast all your people out, then you just spam the empowerment thing. And then, Doom. And, that made your people do, it was basically, you would switch out from single target damage to multi-target, or area effect damage, and it would allow you to spread your damage out over an area a little easier. Here we are, we're almost at the rendezvous point. Once I reached the point, I soon realized had I stayed on the road, it would have took me to the place I needed to. But, I didn't know that. So we went off-road, made our own road. There's Azeroth there. This is what I don't get with the story. Now there's Azeroth laying everywhere in the world. You know. And it was supposed to be isolated to Silithus, right?
Goodbye.
Now later on when we go do the is it Strong Valley? Strong Guard, whatever. The last area you have to explore. You eventually seize the dock area, secure it for the Horde, then it develops into a base. And then they send you off to explore these other areas, which then become outposts for the Horde. And I like that. That was pretty cool. I hope they keep that trend alive. Not like back in the old days when you were traveling through Outland and you just walk around the bend and then there's a whole entire Horde outpost just sitting there waiting. You're like, well, why couldn't I just fly there to begin with? The goblins and their technology, look at that. It's a big rodent. Coming up on the 23-minute mark. This part is 43 minutes long, so we're about halfway through the clip. My main concern with coming over here was that I kind of lost my point of thought. Well, I was in the middle of recording, then the phone rang, and then the guy next door was mowing his lawn, so I paused the tape for a little bit. One thing you'll notice with the Demon Warlock and the damage meter, if you look at the My Spell panel there, You do a lot of damage that's spread over multiple spells. So your damage output doesn't really come from one source. When you're in a battle, you have to learn to spread your damage out quickly to multiple targets. And then that's where Warlock sort of makes its living, I think.
No time like the present to get rich.
But look how much Shadow Bolts and Hand of Gul'dan are kind of like the workhorse.
Time is money, friend.
The Demon Fire there. Look at that. That thing just crippled everybody. 13,000 damage. Just dwarfed everybody else. As you progress from 116 all the way to 120, that's where all these, I call them side tasks, are gonna start becoming prevalent in your adventure. The war effort, the war campaign, the war mode. You get your little troops that you can send out. And you sort of have to pick your battles, especially if when you start doing world quest. As you reach 120, that'll become more important. World quest is pretty much where you get all your reputation from, and you need to constantly keep building your Azeroth power and your gold. The world starts becoming increasingly expensive, and resources are scarce.
Move along. I got deadlines to meet.
This stuff sells itself. Oh, you drive a hard bargain. Hey, how you doing? Don't be a stranger.
Let's make a quick beeline back to the port. I didn't really know which way to run. I had never been here before, and so I didn't get ganked. So I was constantly looking at the map to find the right way back. There's some alliance right there. One thing that I've incorporated since I've been doing more dungeons lately is switching out my primary pet based on what's in front of me. It's like when I need a heavier tank setup, I pull out the Void Walker. If I want a nice balance setup, I pull out the Succubus. When I want more DPS, I will either bring out the Fel Guard or the Fel Hunter, depending if I need more physical or more magical defense ability. This was tough running through here. I just know I'm probably not going to be running through here anytime until I'm at least 120. Looking for this guy. I hear an Alliance guy walking around. I accidentally fell off the pier there. Moving on. We're looking for this guy after falling off the dock. There he is right there.
Zug Zug. Die well.
Out with it.
Blight Caller is always so high energy there. He's like, out with it. It's funny between him and Sylvanas. Sylvanas is the up-spirited one.
Try not to get yourself killed.
Then we went to the Storm Song Valley next. And now I haven't been playing the Alliance side, so I have no real idea what's going on there other than what I've seen on YouTube. People posting stuff, but I don't really know the story. I'm trying to purposely do that because I'm trying to stay true to the Horde. And it's good in a game like this to where you primarily have a Horde view of things that the Alliance main players don't really see, and so your perspective on world events are unique. Or
For the Dark Lady.
might have a different interpretation than the general consensus.
Hail, friend.
This is where you meet Hexar again. And this is where you start getting your little crew together. I'm glad I did these quests now. I went along with the way they were stacked in the quest log there, and I'm glad I did. It seems I did everything in order. The correct order. So, it made the reveals later on that much better, I think. It's easy as you're adventuring around Zandalar and Colteris to lose sight of the fact that we're still only in the very beginning stages of this expansion. So there's a much larger war going on that we have to always stay mindful of as we quest through the world at large. Speaking of, I need to be mindful that I keep my cadence slower. Or I'll start getting hyper. And my sentences will run on and on and on. Now, so far, we've gotten only 3. It looks like to me that you only have Azeroth gear in your head, shoulder, and chest piece. And then the necklace is the part that ties it all together. It's what's powering it, I guess. I guess that's absorbing the Azeroth in the world. That's all I've seen. As I've had to pick different talents from the Azeroth gear, I've mainly been selecting the ones that make me more defensive. And by defensive, I mean more tank-like. Ability to absorb damage as opposed to doing damage. I think in the long run, you won't be a dynamo with damage, but I believe Warlock isn't really designed for that type of playstyle. Warlock is a workhorse, and you have to really labor for your damage and spread it out amongst ads. As we move closer to the 21st of September, you'll see as we play more with other people, our progression in the game. Can't think of the word to say, but has merit, I guess would be the best word. When we start working in a team environment, you really see the demon warlock come alive. But one thing that demon warlock, I think a lot of people I see, is they become very static with the character and they don't evolve as the battle evolves. Like, for instance, they'll just pick a pet and stay with it. And I don't think that's really how it's intended to be played. I think as different things are presented to you, you gotta pull out the demon that will best help you defend or form a symbiotic defense against that threat. And then you apply your offensive talents, so forth. Remember, in this setup with the succubus, we're set up in a balanced defense.
Goodbye.
Meaning we're not as tanky
Yes.
as we would be with the Void Walker.
Keep
But
your
we're
weapons
not
down.
as strong DPS-wise as we would be with the Felguard. The Fel Hound